Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Premier Rowing League. This is Alex Del Sordo. With me is the commish and Zach. We are coming off week one of the PRL, and look, huge surprises. And now I'm going to preface this by saying that I am also a player in this league, and I cannot wait for these two to be telling me how bad of a performance the Armada had. But before we get into this, Zach, you got trashed this week. I mean, I don't did you get one right? I didn't. A terrible performance. How you feeling coming off of week one?
I was texting you guys. This was like my Vietnam. Like, it was just horrible. I mean, you couldn't have gone any worse. Big South Outlaws, they crush it. Sarah Lowe, she crushes it right out of this freaking gate. And then who was it? The Kodiak? No, the Founders. Founders let me down. They picked up right where they left off last year. So real quick, I'm staring down the barrel of 0-3.
The commish, the league is your baby. You've built this thing from the ground up. You're the clear leader, 2 for 3. No surprise there, commish.
I think I knew when Zach picked the Founders that I was jinxed to just flip the Kodiaks right away. Otherwise, that would have given me the perfect 3-0. But it was a close one for the Founders.
I want to talk about that first race. 2 points victory for the Kodiaks, incredibly tight. One race would have changed the entire outcome of that. Commish, what was the biggest surprise coming out of that matchup, 30-28?
I think the biggest surprise was just how well the Kodiaks responded, not having Paris Miller, but also across the whole league, like the X factor of, I think it was coming off of New Year's. Some people just weren't ready to go, so we had some holes in the lineups, which made it pretty hard to predict, what would happen. Me and Zach were talking about, this is what's going to happen if the whole team shows up. But I think coming off of the holiday and with Omicron, we just had a lot of unforeseen gaps in the lineups, and that certainly played a big role across all of them, let alone this one.
Yeah, Omicron, I mean, geez Louise, like our biggest nemesis, yet also a major factor in us having a league this year. Zach, Sarah Lowe. Now, I talked to her yesterday. Sarah Lowe, licking her chops week 2. She dominated the Armada, my team, a complete joke, 38 points. What do you want to say to her right now if she was in this room with us?
Well, this is a family show, so I really can't tell you what I want to say to her. But what I will say is it's week 1, so it's the first week of overreactions. I'm sure that the Storm, they're already punching their ticket to the championship. Next week, they can trip over the coffee table and lay down an egg. You don't know what's going to happen, but definitely a week 1 domination by the Storm.
Well, Commish, you said it there. 3 of the junior men from the Armada just didn't perform. Maybe it's the hangover from the holiday season. The guys in that on our team. Do you think that they would have trounced the Storm there? Do you think we would have picked up all those points?
No. I picked the Storm to win as if all of your team was coming. I do think the Armada is very good, and what they showed last week is not representative of what that roster will do at full strength. If the Armada matched up best athlete versus best athlete in all the categories, they would win. But the Storm, and why I like the Storm so much and why I picked them to win, is their roster is so balanced that they kind of need that. All they need is that not to happen, and they have a great chance to win every week.
I don't feel at all the Armada is going to do well. I think that we're going to get crushed, and I've been saying it.
Oh my God! You're acting like Antonio Brown. You're acting like Antonio Brown. Why don't you take your shirt off and run out of the room, giving us a peace sign?
And look, John Healy, my coach.
You're a cancer in the locker room, Alex. All the other coaches, I'd stay away from Alex with a 10-foot pole. Just stay away from him. He's broken good.
Broken goods. Something Sarah brought up yesterday, I wanted to get your opinion on. Everyone in the league was not ready for one-on, one-off. What an interesting observation. Zach, you love the erg. You coach it, you love it, you do it, you use it every damn day. You think she's right? You think she's right that the athletes, like the members of PR, were not ready for one-on, one-off?
Looking at the scores, they definitely weren't ready. We had one guy break 400 meters. Who was it? Nick Thomas out of the Big South Outlaws. He got 404. But Searcy didn't do that. Glasgow didn't do that. But hey, kick in the pants. A lot of athletes, they're like, this league motivates me to get better. Well, this was a real eye-opener for a lot of athletes that were like, whoa, maybe I'm not in the best shape as I thought I was. But now I'm super excited moving the next week. The 500-meter piece, I think a lot of people are excited for that.
Did we did the league get it wrong, Kamish, on starting the season with one on, one off, or do you think we just you got it perfect?
No, I think it's great. I think we should start every year with that workout, and I think it'll be a playoff round as well. So I think people just underestimate it because they think 1 minute it's going to be so easy, but with just 1 minute of recovery and doing it 3 times, it adds up on you. It shocks some people. I think some people were playing strategy as well, and will not only be faster the next time we do it, but we'll approach it differently. So we'll see. A lot of people basically just punted the middle piece, and that came back to bite a lot of people who could have won that piece.
Listen, I don't want to say that I made a big difference, but I did say to everyone, I said, I'm punting the second one. And it seemed like they all took my advice. I mean, having done that workout, I got to tell you, man, I was dead at the first 1 minute rest. Like, I knew that if I tried to go as hard as I could on that second piece, I was gonna fall flat. So that rest made a big impact for me.
Well, Alex, real quick, Alex, your matchup was very, very interesting. You did the go hard punt, go hard strategy.
Yeah.
You lost piece number 1. Both of you took off on the second one, but you went not as slow as him.
Yeah.
So you got the point, and then you beat him by 2 meters on the third. That's as close as you can get.
I said, my goal was to match the third and the first as tight, as close as I could get it. I knew that if I could repeat, having done this, having watched the season unfold last year, I knew that was my ticket. Like, I knew that if I could just do exactly what I did on the first piece or get close, I was going to win, no matter who I was racing up against. Maybe not Searcy, because he's an animal, but I want to talk about the Outlaws. Chris Leonard. Look, okay, Kamish, you think Sarah, well, let me put it this way. You said, Sarah, that she can only lose the MVP, right? It's very difficult to she was the league MVP, coach MVP last year. Someone's got to do a lot better job. I think Chris is going to do that job. 36 points. He built his team, a powerhouse team. I don't see these guys losing all season long. And I think beating the Tundra, the last year's champions, that's a huge statement. You agree with me on this one?
Yeah, I mean, last year's last year. I'm not saying anybody is walking away with Coach of the Year this year until the season's over. That's when you'll evaluate that. And I think Chris is doing a great job. I think the Outlaws are strong again. They're a fun team. I feel like you love them or you hate them. And they're very good. They're going to race the Storm this week, and we'll get into that shortly. But they could absolutely go undefeated. I also think they could lose this week.
I mean, yeah, you're right. Anything can happen. You put yourself right in the middle there.
Well, I think the 2 best teams in the league are playing this week, and I'll tell you right now. We'll get into it in a minute, but I'm picking the Storm to win.
Well, okay, that's a great transition. So you tell me. So let's look at week 2, 500 meters, as hard as you possibly can go. That's miserable, Zach. You know it. That's a terrible distance. Give me your week 2 predictions, Kamish.
Where do you want to start? Founders Armada?
Founders Armada, yeah.
Okay, so Armada. All of this is not worth talking about if you're not going to show up and compete. But I think the team's more engaged. I think Coach Healy's more on it this week. I think we're going to see the buy-in, and we're going to start to see some of the strength of this team, and maybe you'll calm down a little bit, Alex, and see that you're on a good squad. I think this is also.
Can I quickly jump in about Healy? I think you're going to like this. So Healy gave us a breakdown of how to attack a 500-meter piece, and I got to listen. He gave it to us on Monday morning. It was the first email I got to start my day. The fact that he's 5 hours, 6 hours ahead, it was great to wake up for an actual like strategy on how to do this. And look, I've been doing this for 21 years and I've never had a strategy for a 500 meter piece. I can tell you what it is, but he's on it. He's given us some firepower. So I like it. Armada #1. All right, next.
Yeah, I think the Armada wins it. Even the Founders' only chance is if the Armada doesn't show up or if matchups fall amazingly in their favor. But I think the Armada gets it done. Moving on, Zach, anything to add from you, Founders Armada?
When I come out with my Papa Power rankings, these are the number 6 and 5 teams. Spoiler alert: Founders versus Armada. I mean, Founders. If you looked at how many people didn't show up, physically didn't show up last week, if they fill those holes, the Founders could. I think last year they were the yo-yos. They would crush teams that we didn't think they could beat, and then they'd lose teams that we thought they were going to beat. So I don't even know. Here we are, season 2. I still don't know who the Founders are. I don't know. I'm going to lose no matter what. I'm looking at 0-4. Let's go with the Founders.
I like it. The Storm and the Outlaws. Go ahead, Kanish.
All right. So you guys talked about it with Sarah yesterday. I think on paper, this looks like the two best teams. Teams could be a preview to the championship round. And each time they match up, I think very possible there could be a different outcome. As I'm going to say every time I'm on here, matchups are going to dictate a lot of the outcomes versus just pure ability versus pure ability. So the juniors on this team are super even. There's very, very slight advantages on each side. One is just a hair ahead in junior women, the other just a hair ahead on junior men. Let's just say, because it's more than likely that they'll split those. Okay. So what this is going to come down to is, I think, 3 things. One, Circe has to score for the Storm. And you might say like, oh, well, that's a drop in the bucket. No problem. Right. But, if he matches up with Ross Love or, is that a slam dunk? It may be. I don't know. I think it depends on the workout. If Ross Love takes out Circe, the Storm are in big trouble. Okay. Or anybody. Or if he doesn't show up, right? The other huge matchup here is if Pilosino and Schust draw each other, the Storm are in big trouble because Schust cannot beat her. Pilosino, game changer, got her with the 5th pick. If she beats Schust, it sets up a possibility now where the Outlaws can sweep the open women, and you can't come back from that. But if they can steal at least 1 point there, they have a chance to split, which is a game changer. And then the third is Thorstensen. If Thorstensen can score for the Outlaws, huge get for the Outlaws. So he's going to be up against either David Garcia or Magnus Fleming. I'm hoping it's Magnus because Thor versus Magnus just sounds like a matchup for the ages. But these guys are really close. And if Magnus or Garcia can beat Thor, I think they'll take care of the other Rufo, the other Masters men out of Philly, and then they'll sweep that. And I think the Storm is also going to sweep the Masters women. So it's going to be close. But I think Circe gets the win. I'm going to just roll the dice and say Schust dodges Pilosino, and I'm going to say that Magnus and Garcia take care of business in the Masters men, and that sets up a situation where now the mighty Outlaws need those junior matchups to go their way. If they split them, it's not going to be enough.
I got to tell you, David Garcia is a beast. I take my hat off to this guy. So this guy, you see his name all the time in all of our ERG competitions, right? And then he hits us with this massive 1 minute on, 1 minute off score. I reach out to him privately and I'm like, what the hell happened to you? Like, what did you do? And he said, when he lost last year, he immediately got a trainer and started doing deadlifts and working on his just power application. And now this guy is in the hunt to never lose.
No, you're 100% right. I mean, I remember him and just kind of being like, there's a guy who's like, just kind of participating. And now he's like a factor. Like he's a serious player.
Stankiewicz is, I think, unbeatable. That guy's ridiculous. And Nick Thomas is another person that we need to hear more about.
So you think Stankiewicz can beat Circe?
Absolutely. Yeah, because having watched what he did on the one-on, one-off, I think Stankiewicz smokes him. And I'm not kidding. Like, I think the 500-meter piece is such a game changer. I don't think Searcy has the legs under him yet. Now, come playoffs time, he's got his groove back.
Okay.
But like right now, these
Well,
guys.
if that happens, big advantage Outlaws. Searcy has to score. I think he's the only open man that can score for the Storm this week. So if he doesn't score, I think they're getting swept.
Zach, do you have the Outlaws or do you have the Storm?
Who do you think? Is that a question? Is that a question? I have the Big South Outlaws. You heard it yesterday from Sarah. I think she played her cards or showed her cards. She said no other coach prepares as much as Chris Leonard in this league. I think Chris is just taking the week off from everything, and like a beautiful mind has matchups written on every window in the house. He's definitely has this one circled when the schedule came out. And I agree with Wallin, it's going to be super tight. Nick Thomas did 404 for his first. I'm looking at the first minute. Nick Thomas did 404. Stanky, he went 396. Matt Stankiewicz went 396. Searcy 394. So it's not like Searcy is like this god that can't be beaten. You have two guys that beat him on the 1 minute, but here's the one thing I will say. You can't be cute. It's not go fast, punt, go fast. It is just double strap it, 500 meters, go as fast as you can. I don't know what your race plan is, Alex, but I don't know what you can do for a 500 meter, if you can break it down and get cute. This is just if I'm talking, we parallel football, this is that Steelers-Bengal game when people were getting taken off of stretchers and it was just like a headhunting game. This is what Storm versus Outlaws is going to be. One slip up.
You got to be 115 to 119 to win your piece. That's it, period. And Stankiewicz, Garcia, these guys actually have the ability to go sub 115. And I'm not kidding. They are prepared to do that, and they can do that. And like I said, I just seeing Searcy and knowing what he's going through in his personal life, he's in school, he's not focused on erging. I do want to talk about, though, I want to shift the last matchup, Kodiaks and the Tundra. Guys, Rob Carson, unbelievable. He hates that he lost. And his wife, world record holder, is going to get it again. So it's you already know that she's going to be scoring a bunch of points.
Yeah.
My money is on the Tundra. I think Rob hates losing. I think this guy now understands how the league works after going through 1 week of scoring and how to match it up. Well, Kamish, do you agree with me on this one, or you got the Kodiaks?
I do. I do think the Tundra will come out ahead. I think they got that championship pedigree from last year, and I think they're gaining momentum and see, what they can do to adjust. The Kodiaks have just been hustling on the waiver wire, man. They really have just been picking people up. They're really trying to, overcome that loss of Paris Miller. They did pick up Annika Holtai, who I think is a nice replacement. I don't think you can actually ever fill those shoes, but I agree. The Tundra, I think they're going to sweep both Masters categories. I think they're going to sweep the open men. I think the Kodiaks, even without Paris, need to sweep the junior women just to stay in this, and I think they can do it. But I think this is going to come down to the junior men. And I think that, again, the Kodiaks are going to need close to a sweep. And I just think that's too much to ask. I don't think they're going to get it. Jack Nunn versus Ivan Smiljanic is a matchup I'm hoping for. These guys won a national championship together in college. One is a Serbian Olympian, the other a U23 national team rower. Back in their heydays, but that'll be one I'm rooting to see get down on paper, and definitely be tuning in for personal and professional reasons to see who wins.
Jack Nunn breathes, eats, and sleeps the league right now. This guy, he's gotten a whole new level of energy on it. I love his enthusiasm. Zach, are you going 3 for 3 here? And you're going opposite. Are you going Kodiaks?
So I definitely have to make up some ground on Wallin. The only way of doing that is going opposite of him. This is not one of those. I have to go with the Tundra here. This is one where the Tundra's coming in 0-1, but they got dealt a bandsaw week 1 against the Big South Outlaws. against the 1-0 Kodiaks, but they beat the Founders. So one's 1-0, one's 0-1 coming into week 2, but I don't see the Tundra losing this matchup. I think that they were just up against a really, really, really tough team that may or may not be the best team in the league.
So, guys, last question here that I can think of. World records, American records. Are we going to see those this week, Zach? Yes or no?
Yes, we're going to see them, not from any of the males.
How about you, Kamish?
I'm going to say no. 500 is too tough. It's too, I think it's too established.
Too established.
World record. I think American record, maybe, but world record, I'd be surprised.
I think you're right. American record is still achievable, especially on the women's masters side. I think that we can see something there. Any last words, guys, leading up to week 2? Anything else you want to say to the members of the league or the coaches out there? Kamish, any final words?
Get fired up, man. All these people are looking for you to create enthusiasm. If you are revving your team up and kind of taking note of achievements and pumping people up through your emails, through your social media posts, you're going to get more buy-in. Your whole team's going to thrive.
How about you? How about you, Zach?
The league's looking for a celebrity. Big names are out. Who is out there? You know, we found Ross Love in a glacier somewhere, and look at how big of a star he is. So anyone out there looking to be a star or a stud, you see him emerging here, and this is week 2. We're going to find out who's a contender and who's a pretender.
And if you've made it this far in our breakdown, you got to do a couple things. One, you got to subscribe and like all of our content. We're going live this Thursday night, Zach and myself going live together, watching 500-meter pieces at 8:30 Eastern. Also, if you want to be part of the league, you still can be. There is a waiver wire. You got to sign up. Go to premierrowingleague.com. Go all the way down to the bottom. Sign up to be an athlete. And perhaps one of the coaches out there needs you. And look, there's a lot of people part of this league that are getting COVID, unfortunately. They're breaking their backs. They're getting sick. So we need athletes to fill in those slots. Thanks for tuning in, and follow us on Instagram and see us Thursday night live YouTube.